welcome back to the channel, you all. Appreciate you guys coming back and tuning in. We're going to continue work on the IS300 interior. We're going to change some colors on here because, well, it's dirty and nasty on my end, and I don't like all the tan colors. So we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to change this material here, which gets really dirty. If you guys own the IS, you understand that this thing does get nasty. It's actually real difficult to clean as well. So we're going to get all this cleaned up. We're going to change some colors around. We're going to use the same fabric I've been using on the car so far, that black fabric that we did on the earlier videos on the AC ducts. So it's the same material. We're going to change the color of this guy here, the window control trim. It says wood grain. I have no idea why Lexus put this in this car. It matches absolutely nothing in the car at all whatsoever. And of course I'm gonna switch this to black, so I'm gonna show you how to do that. I don't have, you can get the black replacements, but I don't have it. We're gonna reuse these, we're gonna clean them off, and we're gonna paint these, and then the rest I'm just gonna clean and leave it like that. So let me show you what the plan is here. I'm gonna go over to the car, bring you along with me, and show you what my idea is. Alright, so we're here at the car, and I already replaced the door handles here to fix the black. So it's got the black lock button here. So these have all been replaced. And the idea is Lexus give us these awesome freaking door seals here that look aluminum or stainless steel or whatever they may be. But they put this in here and it doesn't match anything else in the car. So that's kind of my thinking with the door panel, doing something that kind of matches this. So it kind of goes hand to hand, or together, right? So we'll go back over there to the bench and we'll get started. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to strip the door panel off. I kind of already get a head start. You can remove this. It's all the plastic clips comes off. All this is removable, so you can take it all apart and clean it up as needed, especially down here in these pockets. I hate door handles like this because it's hard to clean and dirt and grime gets in here, but you can flip them around. I'm not going to go complete, but you can flip them around and clean the inside up. So I'm going to move these aside. We'll get these cleaned up. This we're going to take apart because we're going to change this color. So I'll put this aside for now. What we want to get to is this fabric. We want to rip this fabric off. So the first thing you got to do is remove this window seal here. It's pretty simple. I got another one here from another panel. It's got these back clips here. So all you do is you're going to get behind the panel and just push these clips straight. It's pretty simple. They're not stiff or anything. It's really easy to bend these. So I went ahead and did that. So it just should actually just come right out after that. Just remember how it goes in. Fairly simple. So after that, what we've got to tackle is this fabric here. You want to start lifting one side or the other, whatever side you got. You're going to take this stuff off. And all you're going to do is just peel it off. It's strong material, so it's not going to rip on you. It's going to give you a nice template to transfer over to the new fabric you may be using. Of course, this is just an idea, so if you guys want to use a different type of fabric, you find something nicer that fits your application, just do that. So with me, I just have a bunch of that black material, and it's easy to clean and all that good stuff, so that's why I'm going to use it. And it matches the rest of the interior that I'm doing. So see, it just comes off like this. Unfortunately, it's got all this padding. This is what makes the material kind of nasty. It keeps a lot of stains and scent in there. If you haven't smelt your door panel lately, give it a try and see yours stinks, but it holds a lot. What I'm trying to say, it holds a lot of dirt and all types of nasty stuff. So that's why we're removing it. Plus, like I said, it's just nasty. Throw that aside. So this part here is we want to get down to the plastic here, and so you could use a wire brush and try to scrape everything off like so. It's going to make a mess. If you want to do it something quicker, you can use some carb clean or some acetone, and say, for instance, if I spray this area here with some carb clean, it helps slide the glue right off. So you can see how much easier that is. You can just wipe it all off, get it all clean, because we're going to put new glue on it. Another thing too, if you like the tan, you can just clean this all off and it's got a nice finish underneath it. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to clean this all off camera. I'm going to clean the whole entire panel, let it air dry out in the sun today. I'm glad I got some sun out to dry this up pretty quickly. And also I'm going to take my material. I got a nice template here. I'm going to put it on the new material, trace it out and cut it out. And we'll get back here and glue the stain on. Alright, so I got that door panel cleaned up. It's outside drying up. So I'm going to take the time to go ahead and prep the two pieces that go on the door here. Your door handle cover trim and the trim here for the window switch. We're going to remove everything here. We're going to wet sand this part here with 1000 grit sandpaper, and I'll show you what it's going to look like once it's sanded. And what we need to get to is just kind of scratching the surface basically to put on the new color. So we're going to remove this first. Pretty simple, it's 2 clips, one on each side. That comes out. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and clean this off camera, clean all the gaps, get all the dust and everything that's in here. I'm sure you'll find quite a bit. Then we're going to move this black piece here. It's held on by 2 Phillips screws. Of course, I'm using a small screwdriver to remove them, but it works. Should come out like this. Don't lose your screws. I'm also going to clean all this up too. If we're here, just clean it. So I'm going to move this aside. So we got this piece here. It's going to be wet sanded. We'll come back to this here in a second. And then we got this piece here that we're going to change the color to. Like I said, if you can find these, you can buy these. You can get black ones. They have it in this color and black. So we're going to change this color to the flat black. I don't want the glossy look on this. So, alright, so I got this, all these parts prepared. This was cleaned with rubbing alcohol, and then this part was wet sanded with 1000 grit sandpaper. You can tell the difference. It's a little bit dull here versus what it used to look like here. It's got a little bit more shine, so you just want to knock it down. Give something for the paint to bond to is basically what you're trying to do here. Since we touched this piece quite a bit, you know, I took extra attention to this part. Not so much with this one. You really don't touch this. You usually just touch the handle. So I'll move this aside real quick. Alright, so what I'm going to use for this piece here, I'm going to use some primer sealer on it first. I'm going to coat this real well. That gets away any imperfections and stuff like that. You can sand it after that if you don't like the way it finishes. But usually if you spray it, it usually comes out pretty evenly. I haven't had an issue with this stuff here. After that dries, I'm going to go and hit it with this color here. This is the same color as my typical color, but it's the same color I've been using with the rest of the parts of the interior. So this should match up fairly well. And then this piece here, along with this piece that goes in the middle here, the plug, I'm going to use this Krylon Fusion. It's all in one. It's a satin black. And I'm not going to prep this any further. You could put some adhesive, you know, promoter or whatever on it and see if it works. I had good results with this stuff, just painting it on there just like that and let it dry, and it's pretty durable. So I'm not going to bore you with the painting portion of it. I would suggest when painting something like this is use a kind of what I call a pepper spray at first on your first coat. Pepper spray it where you still see some tan color, but you got some paint on there. Let that dry fairly well, and then come back with a couple of medium coats after that, and you should be done. That first coat's very important. It gives it something to bond to, and so you know, like I said, if you don't clean this correctly, it's going to show up in the paint. So just make sure you do your due diligence to clean that up. Alright, so we're back here with the somewhat cleaned up panel here. I still got some residue on here. I couldn't get it all off, or I probably can, I just didn't want to. It's not a big deal with the material I'm using. It's not going to affect anything. So We're going to put the new material on here. Once again, we're going to use this stuff here. You can get this at Walmart, any type of hardware store. Make sure that you use it in a well ventilated area. Quick warning, you do not want to breathe this stuff. It's not good for you. So we're going to apply a good layer on this first, concentrating on the gaps here. These lines here, it's very important to get maximum adhesive on there, so make sure to concentrate on those. We're just going to kind of lay it out. I already taped off the area not to get some of this glue on here because it is difficult to get off once it's on. So we'll do that real quick. Alright, so I forgot one step I needed to do. I already applied the glue. It's kind of a screw up. I actually need to drill some holes into this plastic, and you'll see later during the process why. It's going to be a little bit messy. I'm going to try to do it as quick as possible here before this glue sets up. And it's my mistake. Midway through putting the glue on, I just realized that I forgot to do that. So and get my drill real quick and see if I can drill this out before this glue sets up. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole on each end of these lines here in the material, and that's going to be used later for, like I said, you're going to see in a second. So I'm going to drill these out real quick. Alright, so that should be okay there. I don't think any of this stuff is going to show up once we put the new material on. But if it does, I'll be doing it over again. Alright, so I'm going to set this panel aside. You gotta get our new material here. Make sure my surface is clean first. Alright. Get the new material here, and we're going to do the same thing. Is we're going to apply a layer of this contact cement on this as well. Alright, so we got glue applied to both pieces here. So now it's a matter of just putting our new fabric on this, lining up the bottom side first, is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to line this up and make sure that we're even before I flop everything over onto the panel. So I'm just going to lightly drop it on here first, not to press down on it. Once you press down, it's difficult to lift it back up. So at this point, we just want to get a good edge here where the windowsill actually goes first. And then what I'm going to do is going to peel it back up. And I'm going to slightly just drop it down and kind of massaging it on downward. Making sure I have no creases is the idea here. Making sure I get these lines to show up in the material as well. Alright, at this point I'm going to just use a trim removal tool here. If you have a plastic one, it's better. This one's metal. I seem to misplace my plastic one, so all we're going to do use this for is to actually push the material into the gaps all the way around here. You kind of get the idea here how it's fitting into this gap. So you're going to just make sure that you get it all snugged in there. We're going to come back later once everything is dry. So it's going to be like 20-30 minutes. It's not too long. I'm just going to use an X-Acto blade, and I'm going to come along the edge here and just trim everything out. Make sure to use a new blade each time because it stays super sharp and it makes your job a whole lot easier. So once this dries, and I'm going to go ahead and trim this off camera, we'll come back and we'll reassemble this panel. Alright, so you remember those holes we drilled out here where these lines are? What I wanted to do, and going back to the beginning of the video where I showed that door seal where it's aluminum or stainless steel or whatever material it was, what I did is I bought some aluminum rods. And you can do all types of stuff with these things. They bend really easy, they're really cheap. You can get these on onlinemetals.com. They're really cheap. These are like 75 cents a rod. They're a little bit longer than this. This one happens to be trimmed, but we're going to put these rods in here, and these three lines here, and hopefully my idea is going to match up with the when you open the door and you see it, and hopefully it looks a little bit better than it was stock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place one in here. I'm just going to measure here, make sure I got the right length. You want to keep it a little bit long on both sides. This one, it's a little bit long, so I'm going to trim it. It's easy, it's just like that. It's fairly simple. All you're going to need here is maybe a pair of pliers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a crescent, and I'm going to grab one end and make sure it's smooth, and I'm going to bend it very slowly, not too fast, because you end up snapping the rod. Okay, so something like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and say, okay, my hole is about there and here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my razor blade here. I'm going to give it a little bit of pilot hole where I drilled those holes into the fabric. Doesn't have to be a big hole, just enough to get the rod through. There we go. So I'm going to kind of measure out where this is going to fit. Here, I'm going to grab this in here and say, okay, I need to put a bin on this one. So I'm just going to transfer over. However way you want to do it, you can use a marker, whatever. I'm just doing this for video, just to make it quick. I'm going to bend this one slowly. So the idea is to go ahead and insert one end here first. Create like a hook, just like so. The next one, I can bend it a little bit more to get into the hole here. Just like so. So the whole idea here, I know it's lifted up like this, and I didn't make the bend good enough, so I made it a little bit further just in case. I don't want to make it too short and put an extra bend. Now I'm able to lift it out and give it a little bit more of a bend. Here, so it's a little bit more of a bend. Make sure I got everything lined up here. There we go. And so it's going to be loose like this, not to worry. All we're going to do on the back end here, flip this around, see how they're protruding through here. One end's longer than the other, doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a hook with this one here, and all I'm going to do is just twist it toward the plastic like this, and this in here, if I can find my pliers, I'm going to use some pliers here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it and I'm going to bend it toward it while pulling at the same time. So you're going to have to put a little bit of pressure on here. I'm going to go and smash it down, flip around and see what type of result we got. Looks like I need to do a little bit more. See how it's loose like this? The whole idea is when you pull it and bend it and lock into place. It's going to make the rod in the front very tight. So it might take you a few tries to get it, but it's doable. Just like so. And there it is. I can tell it's tight in that groove that was once there. It's not going anywhere. It's got a little bit of wiggle, but it's not real bad. So now I'm going to do that to the next two. And then the next clip that you see, we'll be putting this all back together, putting all the trim pieces back together and then getting it onto the car. Alright, so I got all the aluminum rods put on. They're real tight. No issues at all. So this is the way it looks here. There's different options you can do with this. You can paint these rods to whatever color you want. You can also use that, there's this trim piece that you can actually buy. It's plastic. You can pick there's different colors that you can pick that can go along this edge here to just highlight the area. So if I wanted to do blue, it just tucks in here and you can do it like that. It's fairly cheap to do. You can look on the eBay or Amazon for stuff like that. But it just kind of gives you an idea of what you can do here. You know, there's multiple ways of doing this. Just depends on your style. So now I'm just going to assemble everything. Here's all the painted pieces, how they came out really clean. Here's the black, fairly clean. It's a little bit glossier than I liked, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to assemble this all together real quick, and then we'll put it on the car and see how it looks. Take it over to the car and see how it looks. Alright, so this is what it looks like installed on the door here. This is very subtle. Like I said, the change is not that drastic, but now every time I open the door, it matches the door seal here. So that was kind of the idea. And of course the black, I wanted to get rid of that suede stuff and just put a little bit more color on these door panels. But overall, in person here, I don't know how it shows up on camera or how you guys are gonna see it, but it looks pretty good. Not too bad. It's very subtle. It should be easier to clean now, just in case I get it dirty. But it turned out pretty well. Hopefully, this video gives you kind of an idea what you can do. Give you some ideas at least. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this one. Stay at the end of this video for changing the rear deck, which I already installed into this messy car. We changed the color of the hair. It used to be tan, so if you're interested in that, stay at the end of the video for some bonus features on that. Other than that, thanks for joining me. Please stay tuned to the next one. Appreciate you watching. Alright, so the next thing I wanted to do was to change the rear deck cover color to black. I didn't like the tan. So I'm going to try this Duplicolor vinyl and fabric. What I did to prep the area first was to vacuum it, just to lift up the fibers a little bit. So wish me luck. I hope this works out. Alright, so this is how the rear speaker deck turned out not too bad. Of change of color. It probably could use another coat of black, but at this point I think I'm done with it. Just for reference, I did use a whole can, so you know, if you're going to do this, you probably need 2 full cans just to get full coverage, making sure it's as dark as you want it. This one it's black, but it's still, you know, it kind of looks a little grayish in person. I'm sure on camera it's going to look fully black. But other thing that I did was clear coated the speaker covers back here just to bring the gloss back, and then I changed the color of that piece too. I tried to match these 2 colors, but I'm a little bit off. And I just painted and clear coated this as well, so it always will stay shiny. won't need any armor all or anything like that. So overall it came out pretty good, pretty happy with it, so we'll keep moving along to the next step.